Welcome to Take It Here Daily. I'm the BC. Ekekwe. Today we'll be looking at artificial intelligence and how it all began. For that to have this conversation, I'll take you back to my secondary school days in Secondary Technical School of Abia State. We just finished junior secondary, and it was the first day in the senior secondary class. The senior secondary enrolled for the science line, and physics was the course. Physics, the study of matter with relationship with energy. And Mr. Aham, our teacher, was to introduce us to physics. That day he explained that before the end of the 18th century, that the material thing in the universe was studied as one aspect of culture called natural philosophy. He explained that but over time that they found it very necessary to divide nature into two broad categories. Explained that a part was biological science, another was part physical science. In the biological science, you have core biology, study of life in general. There you have animals and plant zoology and botany. Then in the physical science, you had physics, chemistry at core with mathematics, the beautiful science of numbers, as the engine that connected those two things. That was how he introduced physics. And then we went through an academic excursion over the next 3 years. We got into university at Federal University of Technology, where our philosophy class came into class, and he was to explain to us that we were no more jambas, that we are, of course, university undergraduate students. And then there was this necessity for us to now start answering very, very tough questions. Professor Ashebu asked a question that day. Can you explain to me the material component of the universe? What is this world made up of? There were a lot of hypotheses, a lot of theories and postulations. Thales felt the world is nothing but water, that anything in the world could be consumed by water. Heraclitus had a postulation that world is fire. But I zeroed in what he said that day. He noted that Pythagoras made his own postulation that the universe is nothing but numbers. Pythagoras is saying that numbers rules the universe. Number rules the universe. And that means that everything is number, and the world is nothing but number. Pythagoras was explaining that if we do everything at the level of trying to understand the world, that we have to go back to making sense of the numbers around whatever we want to understand. If you want to understand medicine, you need to understand the numbers around humans. If you want to understand retail business, you need to understand the numbers around the retail business. If you want to be a businessman, you want to understand the numbers around your business. Simply, everything is numbers, because in numbers, industries, sectors, everything is built upon. So Pythagoras is saying that there is just nothing we do in this world that we cannot encapsulate within the framework of numbers. And if that is the case, you will agree with me that the mission, the purpose of humans is actually to make sense of numbers, because it's through numbers that we can actually understand the universe and the world we live. So today we are discussing the pursuit of humans and the forerunners of artificial intelligence. Pythagoras gave us a very big cheat sheet that humans are here. And for humans to understand the environments that we live, we need to understand the numbers, because through numbers, everything we can understand. So if that is the case, how are we going to do that? It means that we need to build machines. We need to build systems. We need to have capabilities that can actually help us to make sense of numbers. and across human history, from the time of Abacus to the time of slide rule to the time of the difference engine, the invention of transistor, von Neumann architecture, the time they invented integrated circuit. Man, woman, we have been on this voyage of building computational systems that can actually help us to make sense of numbers. Because the more we understand numbers, the more we understand our society. The exploration, the extra capabilities that we have in artificial intelligence is essentially extending the hypothesis and postulation that Pythagoras has already given us many, many centuries ago. In other words, if we have these machines, these technologies, we are simply trying to make sense of the numbers around whatever we do, even though we are bringing artificial intelligence within that framework. The forerunners of AI, the machines of old, have given birth to modern machines. With artificial intelligence, we can understand the universe because we understand the numbers which make up the universe. Either in retail, either in medicine, either in engineering, either in anything. If AI helps you to understand the numbers, you have an advantage to understand what is going on there. Numbers, universe, artificial intelligence, entwined in one thing. The more we understand the world through numbers, the better we rule. As Pythagoras concluded in one of his finest works, numbers rule the universe. Artificial intelligence is engineered to help us to make sense of numbers. And if you can go back to what my university professor said when he was trying to teach us about logical statements, the subject and the predicate, AI will rule the universe because AI helps us to make sense of numbers. I'm Dubisi Ekekwe. I podcast every day at Tekidia Daily, which is hosted exclusively at bluesera.com. Hope you connect with us. Thank you.